Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we are talking about planetary energy. That's right, today we are talking about the astrology of June 2022. So let's start out with June 16th. We have our sun in the sign of Gemini, trine Saturn in Aquarius. And so trine is all about kind of like feeling like you have power, but it may not feel like you have all the actions behind it. So you may feel really, really powerful, but be like, I don't really want to do that today, or I don't really feel motivated. The action isn't going to be there. Kind of the sun is going to be giving us kind of like it's our ego, and kind of like Gemini is all about communication. So we're going to want to talk, but it's one of those maybe be talking a good game, but not really putting it into action. This is a good day to kind of really think about some like serious projects that we are like kind of like require doing or really have to do, and then making a commitment, not necessarily today, but kind of making a commitment in the future of like, this is where I'm going to go, this is what we're going to do next, this is where we're going to take this. So this is going to be a really great energy to kind of really think about things, to get ready to move forward. Next we have on June 16th, we have our sun in the sign of Gemini square Neptune in Pisces. And this is a day where you maybe want to be really careful when you talk to other people. We may have misunderstandings, miscommunication, even maybe some things where you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to have lunch with that person and I completely forgot. Maybe some embarrassment with that, or kind of like some shaming of kind of like shaming ourselves or feeling bad, like, oh my gosh. You may also feel someone else's deep insecurities kind of moving forward, kind of like the things that they're kind of like really insecure about that they never talk about coming forward. This is a day that you may want to not make any major decisions. And it's one of those kind of like, where do you want to go with things? Thinking about things is okay, but not making those like, this is what I'm doing, I'm committing to this time frame. That makes it a little bit more easy to work through this energy today. Next, on June 18th, we have Venus in the sign of Taurus square Saturn in Aquarius. And scoring can feel like you have a lot of growth, or there may be a lot of struggle. So it's kind of like, and struggle is growth. Growth is struggle. So it's kind of coming in together in this energy. It's one of those, this may be a day that you feel really disappointed, full of potential breakups or rejections, or kind of like things are not going well, or you were wanting to talk to that really cute person at work and everything fell apart all at the same time. And so know that this is coming up. This is a day that you're going to see a lot of major breakups because of where the planets are so far out. You're going to see a lot of major breakups, and this could be even in political. You could see this in, you know, Hollywood and some other things. People that you always thought like, oh, they're never gonna get separated. They could get separated today. That's what I'm saying, is like, this is the day that that could happen. So just be aware of those things, and make sure that you're aware of what do you want out of this, and make sure that you are kind of communicating what you really require today. It's something that you may not really have voiced yet, but it's something that you should be voicing out. Let's see. On June 19th, we have Venus in the sign of Taurus sextile Neptune in the sign of Pisces. And sextile energy is all about being relaxed, but almost like I want to make it really simple. I want to push these two energies together and make it really, really simple. This is a great night for romance. And sextiles are really great about kind of like bringing that romantic fantasies up, kind of talking about things like, what are your fantasies? What are things that you want to have come out in the future? And it may not always be sexual. It could be romantic. Like, I would really like to have a candlelit dinner. I would really love to go on the walk on the beach, or something like that. So kind of really opening up your expansion in that area, kind of allowing that to come forward. Next, on June 20th, we have Mercury in the sign of Gemini, sextile Jupiter in the sign of Aries. And this is going to be kind of leading up to people logging on to dating apps, because people are going to want to be talking. Mercury in the sign of Gemini is all about communication. And then Jupiter in the sign of Aries is kind of, Jupiter's all about expanding, and kind of like Aries is kind of like, I want to be talking about things, I want to be doing things, I want to be in action about things. So you're going to let us see a lot of people wanting to make connections with other people, kind of entering that energy as well. So that's something to kind of be aware of, and make sure that you get their true self. And I will tell you, listening is one of the most important things that you can do, is really listening to other people, listening about what they say about themselves, what they say about their past relationships, is all going to give you some hints, suggestions, and ideas about who they really are. Next, on June 20th, we have our sun moves into the sign of Cancer, and we have our summer solstice. So this is the official first day of summer, as the sun enters the sweet sign and sensitive sign of Cancer. During the longest day of the year, over the next 4 weeks, we will be focusing towards protecting ourselves, our family, and our homes. Kind of outside energies are not allowed. What can we do to protect ourselves and our families as well? This is going to be really coming up major over the next 4 weeks with the sun in the sign of Cancer, kind of keeping everybody protected. Also on June 20th, 21st, we have Venus in the sign of Taurus, trine Pluto in Capricorn. Under this aspect, we could be meeting some very important people in our lives, and this could be business related, this could be friend related, this could be like a mentor that would coming in, somebody new and fresh with some new fresh ideas, something that we haven't really thought about in a while, or kind of like, wow, this person's really been where I want to go, and so I really want to learn from this person. That is going to be bringing in some great energy for us. Next, on June 22nd, we have Venus entering the sign of Gemini. And Venus is all about love, the goddess of love. And Gemini is all about talking about it and kind of being social about that. Over the next 4 weeks is a great time for flirting. This is also kind of that intellectual talking about things, of kind of like, what are those higher thoughts. Venus has a very sensual side, but it also has a very intellect side as well, and that's what's going to be coming through, is kind of like that intellectual, that how that brain works, how they think about things, how they work through problems or solutions, and all of those things. This is going to be kind of really interesting as it's in the sign of Gemini, because you may see some people cut off relationships. So you might kind of see, like, all of a sudden, just like, the person's not texting me back, or all of a sudden this isn't happening anymore. When things get too boring, they're going to kind of cut that and move on. Gemini's energy really loves kind of like being the highlight of the party, kind of communication. And if it gets too boring, they're like, we're going to cut and run. So if you start getting ghosted by someone, it could be that they're not feeling the same energy that you are, just so FYI. Let's next move into June 27th. We have Mars in the sign of Aries, sextile Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. This is going to be, like I said, this is going to be kind of like that sextile energy of being relaxed, but being very simple. And the simple part of this one is, people are going to almost require their own independence. Like, I want to do things on my own. People that are normally like, no, I have to have everybody with me and everybody holding my hand and we all have to sing Kumbaya and do it all together, are going to be like, I'm out of here. I'm ready to do this all on my own. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to push this energy where I want it to go. So this is going to be a great time to kind of like pushing that energy, or pushing someone to kind of make those changes in their lives. But they're going to be kind of like making action or making changes to kind of be more independent. I want to get my freedom. That's all about this energy right now. Next, on June 28th, we have our new moon in the sign of Cancer, and this is going to be a very loving, soft energy. Cancers are very soft, very supportive, but also very protective energy. This is an ideal time to kind of start talking to people if you haven't already started a new relationship, or kind of communicating with people. Communication is going to be very soft, very peaceful, very harmonic. And this is going to be starting people kind of doing acts of kindness for other people, kind of like, oh, I'll take care of it for you. Other people stepping up to be part of what's going on. Next, or also on June 28th, we have a lot going on June 28th. We have Neptune in retrograde in the sign of Pisces over the next 4 months. I will link that down beneath, so just so you know. Retrograde is all about kind of shaking out our fantasies, kind of forcing us to separate fact from fiction, and kind of like, where do we want to go with this? And Neptune is all about that dreamy world of kind of like, where do we want to go and where do we want to be? Make sure you don't tune out too much. This is something kind of like negative side of it is people love to kind of tune out what's really going on in their world, or kind of like, I want to live in this dream state and not necessarily be grounded into Mother Earth. And that's also going to be really apparent this time because Neptune is going into retrograde in the sign of Pisces, which is all about the fish and kind of moving together and that sort of thing. And so they're going to feel like they're part of things, but they're really, really not. And it's kind of feel like movement, but backwards. I know. Next, on June 28th, we have our Sun in the sign of Cancer square Jupiter in the sign of Aries. And this is a day that you want to kind of take it easy. This is a day that you don't want to push a lot of energy. This is the day you kind of maybe want to call in sick to work and kind of like, I'm just going to sit out by the pool and relax and take it easy. Our last one in June 28th, we have Venus in the sign of Gemini sextile Jupiter in the sign of Aries. And this is going to be making us feel like very social. We want to get out. We want to kind of remember where we've come from, or what we want to do, or what do we want to accomplish in our world, and kind of like pushing this energy more and more forward. What is it that you want to bring about in your world? What is it that you want to do in your world? This is going to be kind of, like I said, pushing us into that social realm of where do we want to be. Let's pull some angel cards and get us a little bit more insight into the second half of June 2022. Let's see. I got a couple of them jumping. I literally have a couple of them jumping out on the side here. So this is the first one. The first one is surrender and release. And this is where I kind of get, we just had Mercury kind of come out of retrograde, and so this is kind of still pushing that energy of like, where do we want to go, where do we want to push our energy, and kind of really allowing that to keep going forward, and kind of pushing that rebellious energy. Where do we want to go with this? Where do we want to keep pushing with this? And it's going to be pushing us to kind of do some things on our own, kind of things that people are normally like, she's not very independent. She is today. She's going to be having lots of fun. Friendships. There could be a lot of potential new friendships coming in June 2022, especially the second half, where you're kind of really reaching out. I want to make communications with other people. You maybe even find yourself like reaching out and talking to people that you may not normally, and find a friendship in all of that. That's a really good one. Dreams. We are going to have Neptune in retrograde during this time frame in the sign of Pisces. And like I said, we don't want to kind of live in our dream world, but we do want to touch on that because that's really kind of like, where do we want to go in our world? Usually our dreams are telling us that, and it could also be telling us what we require working on during this time frame. Next, all about forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that really a gift that we should be giving ourselves, a gift that we should really be concentrating for ourselves and kind of moving in that energy. Where do we want to go in this energy? Where do we want to kind of add that energy into is going to be really a great thing to ask at this time. Our last card, our last one, is all about listening. And this one came up in the first one as well. And I want you to understand, it's all about listening. When you really listen to what other people are saying, it's one of those, their words, their intentions, what's important to them, what do they want to tell you about their day. It's going to be coming forward. So this is really important to really, really listen to what they're telling you. This energy is going to be amazing and kind of give you a great insight into all things their energy and what's important to them, as well as what are they telling you about themselves. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.